Well, a wife is accused of murdering her husband's ex-girlfriend and then helping him get rid of the body. Amanda Hayes took the witness stand in her own murder trial. She's being cross-examined today by the prosecution. Hayes testifies she did not kill Laura Ackerson, who was the mother of her husband's 2 children. But Hayes claims she only helped her husband dispose of the body because he threatened her.
I don't know how long it was, and he came back. And he had some trash and stuff. Whenever my sister got there, he asked me to ask her for directions to an apartment. And so he had some trash he needed to throw out. And so he put everything in the back of the truck. I don't know what everything is. I didn't see it. I just know he had some trash bags or something. And I drove him to the apartments, and he threw everything in the way.
Well, let's bring in our legal panel today. Dan Schorr is a former prosecutor. Ebony Williams is a criminal defense attorney. I've covered an awful lot of trials, some murder trials. It's pretty rare that the defendant testifies in his or her own defense. Ebony, what do you think about the wisdom of that move in this case?
Well, you're exactly right, John. It is a very rare thing. Very rarely do I have a client who actually wants to take the stand, or do we think it's in their best interest. However, here, I do think she might be doing herself some favors. Her defense completely hinges on the fact that she is able to convince this jury of 9 women and 3 men that she was so under the manipulation and control of her husband that she was unaware and therefore irresponsible for what went on with this crime. So therefore, everything about her testimony, we saw the light colors, the pale pinks, the white demeanor, the fragileness, the timidness of her tone, all are things that she is doing to support that belief that she was indeed so manipulated and intimidated by this husband.
Yeah, it was pretty gripping when she testified about the night when he took her out in the dark in a boat to dump the remains of this woman, his ex-girlfriend, in a creek across the road from her sister's house. Before we get to you, Dan, I want to play that soundbite where she's talking about that night.
I was scared. There were animals, and it was dark, and the moon was, and I could just hear animals, and there was grass everywhere, and I just didn't know what was in the water. I was very scared. I didn't see anything. I just kept that way, and it was taking a really long time. It seemed like forever and ever and ever.
How does a prosecutor attack that, Dan?
Well, you have to look at other evidence that undermines her story. She says that there was a fight at their home where the victim, the deceased victim, is hurt, and then Amanda Hayes says she left the house, left the apartment, and came back and the victim's gone, and she didn't know that she had been killed, and she takes this road trip with the dismembered body from North Carolina to Texas, not knowing the body's in the car. But there's other evidence that undermines that story. She's at the Target the day after the killing buying bleach and rubber gloves. Then there's bleach in the foyer of the apartment. Things are missing from the bathroom, such as the shower rod, the shower curtain. There's all signs of cleaning up a crime scene. And then does she really not know the body's been put in the car and that she's driving with it from North Carolina to Texas? There's also the issue that she allegedly told her sister that she was part of the killing. So there's a lot of evidence that undermines her version of events. On its face, it seems emotionally powerful, but you have to look at the totality of the evidence here.
But as you pointed out, Ebony, there are 9 women on this jury. They may sympathize with another woman who is under the thumb of a pretty manipulative defendant. Here is some testimony about what happened as they were on their way back from Texas, where the body was dumped, back to North Carolina. Listen.
And another time, whenever we were driving, Lily was crying, and he told me if I didn't shut her up, he was going to throw her out the car.
He's talking about her newborn baby there, Lily, at that point. I mean, do the women, I mean, would they be willing to overlook whatever role she may have played in this crime just because of the effect of Grant Hayes, Ebony?
It could be, John. I mean, certainly women are less inclined to want to put women, hold them as accountable. I mean, that's not fair, but that's certainly what the studies have shown. And here's the thing, too. The state has charged this woman with first-degree murder. And so basically, they've got to connect the dots to her planning and being a part of the actual murder itself. She's also got a charge of accessory after the fact. Now, to Dan's point, the footage of showing her possibly helping and being involved with that cleanup, that could, prove guilt in the accessory charge, but I think the prosecutors are going to have a tough time connecting her to the actual murder when Grant Hayes has already been convicted of that and he's serving life without parole as we speak.
Yeah, it seems to me that she has been a powerful witness in her own defense. Again, the prosecution is going at her today. That's going to cause some sparks as well. We'll keep an eye on it and invite you back to talk about it some more. Ebony Williams, Dan Schorr, thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.